everybody, and welcome to something just a little bit different. Welcome to a race day coverage, and it's a watch along. So welcome up to the commentary box. We've got 5 minutes until the world feed begins and me and Megan start talking. So I thought we'll come on here and give you a little bit of an update as to what's going on. Basically, it was just announced a few seconds ago that Nico Hülkenberg, he did qualify to start 13th on the grid, but the car has got an issue and Nico Hülkenberg will not take part in this British Grand Prix. Dramatic stuff, Megan.
That's such a shame. He only came into this race because Perez couldn't be here because he has coronavirus, unfortunately. But it's such a shame that he comes in for one race. Luckily, he has another chance next weekend.
Yes, and he did an amazing qualifying 13th place as well. So just to explain to you what's going to go on, this is a watch-along commentary. Basically, what that means is that it will be a radio broadcast and you will have a commentary box camera of me and Megan. The race is live on Channel 4 and on Sky 1 and Sky Sports F1. But me and Megan are in the commentary box getting ready for a good one. It's going to be a good race today, isn't it?
Yes, it will be.
At Sky Race Control, we have Ian Birch, who's our father, but he's watching Race Control over radio broadcast. If things go wrong in the race, he will come into the commentary box with us as well. But it's mainly just a little bit of an interesting situation because you may have noticed we've got different wing jammers than usual. That's because this is our commentary box equipment, not our usual equipment of what we go live with on the TV pictures. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a bit of an unusual one. We've never done a live race commentary before. And I think this is going to be something a bit different, and something could be a little bit more fascinating to actually learn about. So we are going to broadcast the whole race in radio form. We're going to have our watch-along commentary as we go along. And just sitting in at Race Control, just got there to Race Control, is Ian Birch. Good afternoon to you, Dad. Welcome to the pre-show before we go on air. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting one today. Because we've got so much difference of tyres, so much different of equipment going on as well. And for the first time ever, we are live on YouTube. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. The tyres have been degrading quite a lot over the last few days. Lewis had a bit of a problem with a spin yesterday. Let's hope that there's a bit of a wind down one of the straights that's causing a few problems at one of the corners. But hopefully we'll have a great race, and let's hope the Brits do well.
I absolutely agree. Now we're about to switch over from handheld microphones to our headsets to start the commentary and to start the broadcast. Because, of course, we use this commentary in our Grand Review podcast. So we're sort of having to split a bit of hairs here today. But, Megan, it's going to be an interesting race. We know that Hamilton has to start on the medium compound tyre, but crucially, he hasn't got any more left. He has to go on to the hard compound tyre, where Bottas can go onto the medium. It's going to be a race of two halves, really, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. I mean, I think what really has made him go really bad with the tyres is yesterday's spin on the gravel.
That brought out the red flag, yes, as well. It's going to be an interesting one. I keep saying that, but this is it. The British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It only happens once a year. Now we've got two events, but of course, this is the only British Grand Prix. After this is the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. So we're building up to what is going to be a great start. Just to confirm, for those of you who are just joining us, Nico Hülkenberg will not be taking the start at this Grand Prix. Racing Point have found a terminal issue with their car, and they cannot allow him to continue. He will be back, though, next weekend. So scratch Hülkenberg off from starting 13th. So that promotes up. That promotes Antonio Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, Grosjean, Latifi, Kvyat and Russell. But crucially, because the final grid has been done, they can't move up that position when the race starts. So we might have a little bit of a start delay in order to get that car off the grid. But the world feed is just about to start. Now, unfortunately, we have to keep talking because we can't broadcast any of the sounds or images. But just to give you a little bit of a crossover point, we can use the FOM theme because it is on the F1 2019 game and it is a free use. So here we go. And that's it. That's all we're allowed to do before we go back and get going again. Nico Hülkenberg will not take part in the Grand Prix, but we are just about to build up. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It's going to be something quite different and quite exciting. Get your questions in. Hashtag JB Motorsports on the YouTube chat as well as we prepare for the British Grand Prix. An old RAF base here was converted into a racetrack after World War II. Now, 70 years later, we are here for two events. First, it's the prestigious British Grand Prix, and then something to celebrate the 70th anniversary. Welcome to Silverstone. It is feared and it is loved equally by drivers. It is the ultimate driving challenge. It has some of the fastest corners in the world. Copse, Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, Hangers. It is constantly changing, constantly challenging, and constantly delivers a great Grand Prix. It is 3.66 miles, 3 sectors as traditional. For 10 years now, we've been using the international circuit, which includes the renovated section, including a new start-finish straight. It's added up to 18 turns on this circuit. It's flat, 11.3 metre elevation change. Last year, Hamilton and Bottas went in it hammer and tongue for the start of their race. Right round the outside at Luffield, Hamilton tried. Bottas snuck back through on the inside, coming into the next part of the track. Copse corners and one to watch on the opening lap as well. Going forward, Ricciardo and Norris last year also had a battle and also failed to make it to the end. And of course, Vettel and Verstappen. Enough said there. Last year, it's still sore in the memory for Red Bull as Vettel hit the back of Verstappen going forward. 3-tyre compounds to keep your eye on. The soft, the C3. The medium, the C2. The hard is the C1. The soft is red. The medium is yellow. The hard is white. Let's take a look then at the starting grid for round 4 of the 2020 season, the British Grand Prix. For the 7th time and the 91st time in his career, Lewis Hamilton takes pole position and Mercedes get their 66th lockout with Bottas. Then it's Verstappen on in second row with third, and Charles Leclerc starts in 4th. Row 3 sees Lando Norris start 5th on home soil. Lance Stroll starts in 6th place. Then we get Carlos Sainz starting in 7th alongside the Honey Badger of Daniel Ricciardo in 8th. Drop down to 9th place, we see Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel having one of his worst qualifyings at Silverstone down in 10th. Pierre Gasly starts 11th. Alexander Albon starts 12th, eliminated once again in qualifying 2. Then we get Nico Hülkenberg, who's saying currently a pit lane start, but he will not take part in the Grand Prix. He's alongside Kevin Magnussen. And then it's an all-alpha row 7 with Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen. Row 8 sees Romain Grosjean start 17th alongside Nicholas Latifi. And on the last row of the grid, a 5-place grid penalty each, but for different reasons. Danny Kvyat is 19th, a 5-place grid penalty for changing gearbox, and a 5-place grid penalty for George Russell for failing to slow under the double yellow flags. We've already heard from Megan. Let's head back down to Dad. What are you expecting in this race today at Race Control?
Well, I didn't know about Hulkenberg until you told me just now.
Yes, it's a shocker, isn't it?
Because he's put his everything else on hold to come and do this, but it can't be helped if it's dangerous. So he can't race in that car. Anyway,
absolutely.
Today, what I'm expecting is Verstappen to challenge the two Mercedes down into the first corner. There's a nice shot there of the red star for Niki Lauda on the side of Mercedes. It's going to be go on. And I'm hoping the Brits all do well. But it's the race start is between Valtteri, definitely with Lewis and Max. Thank you, Dad. We'll hear from you throughout the race as well. Copse Corner is one of the hardest parts of the track to get right. There we see Nico Hülkenberg. He will not be taking the start in this race. Here's the starting tyres then. The top 4 starting on the mediums. That's Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen and Leclerc. Starting on the softs is Lando Norris. Then we get Lance Stroll on the mediums. All softs for Carlos Sainz, Danny Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel. The rest of the field are starting on the medium compound tyre, all bar Nico Hülkenberg, who was due to start on the hards. Of course, he will not be taking part in this Grand Prix. Just like Cinderella, when the clock strikes at the right time, we must start to go home. Formula One has come home to Silverstone at 2:10 UK time. No fans in attendance, but that doesn't matter because we have an atmosphere with a cathedral of speed about to roar around the RAF base.
And this is going to be a cracker. The cars are now onto their parade lap. They will head down towards turn number 1. It is a right-hand fast kink called Abbey before the quick kink to the left for the farm curve. Turn 3, another right-hander for Village before the loop. And Aintree, 2 double apex left-handers, leads us back to the Wellington Straight and back to the part of the circuit we all know, as we're into it now, of Brooklands past the BRDC Club. Luffield, a long sweeping right that gives majestically onto the national start-finish straight. The predicted pit stop strategy for those starting on the mediums, they're expected to go to lap 17 to 26 on the hard compound tyre. For those starting on the softs, is going to lap 14 to 23. So there's a slight advantage, but Nico Hulkenberg, Megan, looking on, and you must admit, he looks a bit dejected. He's flown all this way, barely had any sleep, and now he can't drive, but might race next weekend.
It is very sad, but at least he's got more practice for next weekend, to be honest.
I'm saying it now, Hulkenberg for a podium next weekend. I'm saying it right now, just so we get it out in the open. Get your questions in. Use the hashtag JB Motorsports on Twitter. We have access to that, and we have access also to the YouTube live chat as well. Hamilton leads the championship on 63 points. Bottas is on 58. Whoever leaves here today ahead of the other will take the lead in the Drivers' Championship. It is crucial. The black Mercedes looking beautiful as the sun glistens on them down the Hangar Straight. Mercedes lead the Constructors' Championship by quite a way, 121 points to Red Bull on 55. Watch out for the 2 battles, though, for McLaren and Racing Point. In the Constructors' Championship, they are on 41 points and 40 points each. We are moments away from the crescendo of noise of a turbocharged V6 car heading down towards turn 1. To explain the procedure, they will line up in staggered formation 2 by 2 on the start-finish straight. The lights will come on, a set of 5, one at a time. When the 5th light goes on, there will be a mandatory pause of up to 5 seconds. When the lights go out, the drivers will release ever so slowly the first clutch from the back of their steering wheel and pull away gently with their right foot. And sitting on the grid seems to be an eternity because your right boot seems a little bit too tight, your gloves don't feel that good, your helmet straps feel a bit loose, the hands device is sort of starting to choke you, you're nervous, you're anticipating the lights. If you get it wrong, you jump the start. If you're too late, then you're going to be swamped by a field of angry machinery and angry men firing into turn 1. Brake late at turn 1, you're in the wall. The crescendo is about to rise. Stand up and enjoy. Salute the heroes as the green flag is on. The lights are on. 3 lights, 4, 5. The British Grand Prix is go. Action at Silverstone. Great start from Hamilton, but Bottas has the inside line. Down towards turn 1. And it's side by side. And the 2 McLarens are side by side. They've jumped up the order. Hamilton leads the way. Look at Lance Stroll right at the inside. Bottas locks up. Hamilton leads the way. We've got Verstappen sideways as he's trying to battle with Charles Leclerc down towards Aintree. And the Wellington Straight for the first time. Great start from Hamilton. Now we see the battle. Cars left and right. The AlphaTauri going. As now, look at this. Verstappen under pressure. As right round the outside into Brooklands. Leclerc tries to move. Runs them late. Lando Norris goes wide. We've got Ocon right now battling as well. Ricciardo in the mix with the Red Bull, with the Racing Point. And the McLaren trying to look of Carlos Sainz to get past the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc down towards Cobb's corner. And now Vettel's dropping like a stone. He's been swamped. Leclerc keeps ahead of Sainz, Norris ahead, and now it's all a bit of a battle through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time. Now swooping into Chapel and the Hangar Straight. No DRS for the opening 3 laps, but a brilliant start from Lewis Hamilton. Controlled the way and leads the way at Silverstone as we've got clear cars further back. The AlphaTauri there, and that is Kvyat trying to get past Grosjean. Magnussen under pressure from the other AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. Great start, Megan.
It was a great start, and I noticed how there was a bit of a battle between Norris and Leclerc and Sainz for battle for 4th, which Oh!
We've got a yellow flag somewhere on the track. We can't see it at the moment, but I think it's down in the Vale chicane, and I can't see who's come across the line. I think it's Kevin Magnussen who has dropped. Magnussen stopped. Magnussen's in the wall, and we've got a tyre off. There's no damage to the front of the car, but a big suspension failure for Kevin Magnussen coming out of the last corner of Club, and he has gone off the track. Dad, what's happened? Safety car's deployed. Dad, he's made contact with Albon. Coming into Club corner, takes the line. Oh, well, that's give or take, Dad. What do you think of that one?
I'm just looking at it again. It's just one of those things. He gave him a lot of. It's one of them should. The Haas should have come out of the throttle there
Magnussen.
because of the fact that I think it's Magnussen, isn't it?
Yes, it's Magnussen, and it's Albon who's hit him on the inside.
I'm interested to find out how he lost his wheel.
I think he hit the wall in the wrong angle, and the rear suspension just flew off.
Sliding across there.
So Albon goes to the inside.
With his wheel off, I was expecting 2 cars in there.
I thought I saw 2, yeah.
Albon seems to have kept going.
Safety car is deployed here at Silverstone, keeping up the percentage of it. Oh, it's the front. Yeah. It's the front wheel of Magnussen that's off. Go on, Dad.
Yeah. Albon, how come he dropped so far as he's in front of a Haas or at the side of a Haas car?
Albon,
definitely that was not to do with the collision because the collision was on the right-hand side.
It's the left that's got the damage.
We still haven't seen actually how he lost that wheel in none of the replays.
I think he must have hit the wall at some angle and thrown it off. Just to, for those of you not watching any pictures, providing a bit of radio here, Albon went up the inside at Club corner. It's a tight right, and it pinches onto the start-finish straight. Magnussen turned in. 2 into 1 doesn't go, and sending into the wall as well. The safety car is deployed, and it's a number of safety cars as well, because since 1998, the safety car has made an appearance in 14 British Grand Prix, and it's been in every year since 2013. That record stays up. Thank you to Lights Out blog for that stat. Megan.
I've noticed that he hasn't just destroyed the wheel. He's destroyed a bit of the flooring on the car near the wheel.
That's not good when you've got back-to-back. We've got the Red Bull looking at possible suspension damage now as well. Thumbs up from the engineer of Alexander Albon, new racing engineer this year as well. Back to you, Dad, at Race Control.
Well, yeah,
medical car. Sorry, the medical car is also out.
This is the strange thing.
Yes.
That car is not far enough into the gravel for that car to have hit the wall.
I agree.
How did that wheel come off?
He did hit the wall. I've seen another replay. He did hit the wall. Here's a replay of the race start then. It was a level start for the two Mercedes into turn 1, but Hamilton had the advantage. Meanwhile, further back, Max Verstappen sank further and further back, and he got swamped by Charles Leclerc. Late brake round the outside, but Leclerc ultimately had to back off as Verstappen had the inside line. Let's have a look on board with Verstappen, Megan. Good initial launch, same as the Mercedes. But he's like he misses a gear coming through this part of the track. Look, he decelerates so much.
You see him having trouble trying to avoid Valtteri.
And I think he did lose some gears as well. I think he must have had a missed gear, but he got it back. Then he's had a shocking start really from Verstappen. Yes, he's stayed in 3rd place, but it's not his cleanest one he's had further, is he?
No, it was kind of like one of his first races.
Sebastian Vettel down at Copse now, trying to go right around the outside of Esteban Ocon, and Vettel locked up and went off the track as well. He's had a habit of going off there, and he's done it again. Dad, race control.
Yeah, on the start, the two Mercedes came across each other.
Yeah.
Bottas started to yield, and then, we've now seen why the wheel came off.
Well, but with Magnussen now, so he turns in, gets the pitch point,
then, because he slowed down, and he had
it's at the wrong angle to see it.
Ferrari coming up on the thing. Max had initially slowed down, then he carried on, and that's how Max had a bad start, because he was then being challenged by the Ferrari. But if we see on this replay that we're getting now, the car is sliding sideways.
This is Magnussen
back
again,
end, and so he's going to hit with his back left-hand side wheel, and then that shoots round and knocks the front wheel and some of the floor off, and then throws the car to where it eventually ended up in the gravel. I couldn't work out how
it hit the wall.
Was so close yeah, the force that car hit that wall was immense. You know, it was very similar to Hulkenberg when Hulkenberg went off
Yeah.
in, I think, a Renault.
Yes,
And
Hulkenberg a couple of years ago down at Copse
a couple
Corner
of
went
years
off.
ago,
Yeah.
Hulkenberg went off in a Renault, and also the Haas that got its back end destroyed last year. That was
Yes.
a similar crash to that. It's like the back end hits and just the momentum throws the car so violently
Yeah.
around that it breaks the front suspension. And then in this case, there was enough momentum to actually throw it 20 odd feet,
Yeah.
right? So you couldn't really work out. There's
Where
not
he
as
was
many
on the
cameras
track.
doing this event today as there usually is. Usually we would have had 3 or 4 different views of that. I think we've only had 2.
Two views and an onboard, so 3 technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anyway,
Yes.
Safety car should be in soon.
Yep. No sign of where it is at the moment.
But this is just a respite for those tyres because they're all starting on the tyres that they had in practice Q2 yesterday. And so this gives them a little bit of a respite. Maybe they'll be able to go a couple of laps longer on these tyres than they first thought, which it'll change some of the strategy of the race, won't it?
It will indeed. Thank you, Dad. Megan, anything? Because I know you've been tapping for the last few seconds. Is there anything you want to say?
Yes, I think that they're going to have to do quite a lot of work in Magnussen's car now, not because of the flooring and the wheel, also because of the suspension must be slightly damaged from the wheels locking.
The wheels did lock before as well.
And then sliding so much, that must have damaged
the rear
everywhere.
The rear suspension wasn't as badly damaged. It was the initial contact. It was wheel to wheel, not suspension to suspension. So the initial contact was right. It's the fact that he hit the wall. He's broke the front left suspension. Has he done any damage to the back? The question then is, he done gearboxes? Has he done the engine in as well? Is it damaged? It's got to be repaired. There's only a 7-day turnaround before we've got to go for another race.
They're going to have to wait day and night.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time. So the safety car is out then here at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It's lap 5 of 52. It keeps up a record of having a safety car in every single race since 2013. That was a crazy race as well. The one where all the tyres blew up going forward as well. Just to confirm the strategy that we're thinking, if Bottas wants to do the undercut on Hamilton and wants to go to the medium tyre, he can do. He's got a new set left, but Hamilton doesn't. He's got to go onto the hards at some point in this race. Biggest gainers at the start, well, that's Sainz and Ricciardo, only up 2 places. Lost for Norris and Stroll. They were down 2 places. I think Dad's at race control.
I don't know if anybody's listening that's got the answer to this, and you might yourself. We know that all the old safety cars are in that barn in Germany.
With Bert Mailander.
Yeah, with a massive collection of old safety cars and things like that. Who has led the most races of a Grand Prix history? Is it Mailander or Lewis?
Must be Bert Mailander who's doing it longer. 2000 he did it in 2000.
Yeah, but Lewis
is dominated.
Mailander only comes out for a certain number of laps per race, but he has been doing it for a long, long time.
That's an interesting question.
I just wondered if anybody out there knows who has led most laps of a Grand Prix, the safety car driver or Lewis.
I think it must be Hamilton. It's got to be Hamilton. It's got to be Bert Mailander. I'm going to interrupt myself to bring you this. It must be Bert Mailander. He's done a lot more going forward. The safety car.
It was quite interesting that little bit of clip that's on YouTube of the old safety cars. I remember nearly all of them. They're brilliant cars.
The safety car is coming in this lap then. Lewis Hamilton will control the field. No overtaking until the start-finish line. Away we go. The green flag is out, but remember, we have to do it again. So it's action at Silverstone once again here as the race gets restarted. Hamilton leads the way. Bottas is second. Verstappen third. Then we get Leclerc further back. The 2 McLarens want to make a move. Sainz is looking at the back of Leclerc, and Ricciardo's got Norris all over the back of him. Norris is looking extremely good under pressure from the racing point of Lance Stroll as we come into turn 3 at Village. Everyone there smooth as silk on the restart on a smooth as silk racetrack. Pulling down now towards Aintree. and the Wellington Straight. Hamilton has got a 7/10 advantage, but Bottas is staying with him. And there goes the Racing Point now, pulling out to the back. That is, of course, the only Racing Point in the field. Lance Stroll getting passed by Esteban Ocon, but just holding back. Ocon got ahead, but now it's back up on the inside. Brilliant move. As the race continues, lap 6 of 52, a long way to go. We haven't got to pit stops yet. That's going to delay the pit stops as well. I'm thinking now around about lap 25, 26, we could see everybody peel into the pit lane, and that is everybody on every tyre, because they're just going to go for it for so long in this race. Through Maggott and Beckett's once more, and then through Chapel and the Hangar Straight. Of course, called the Hangar Straight because it used to hold airplanes in World War II. This was an RAF base, remember, of course. Looking a bit different now as well. And we've got Ocon going for a move on Stroll into Stowe Corner, and Stroll's holding him round the outside. They just clip wheels, but somehow managed to stay on the track. Ocon comes back, but it's Stroll who takes 8th place again from Ocon. These two are going to battle it out lap after lap after lap, and into the pit lane comes Alexander Albon. Is this for retirement? Unsure at the moment. I can't see anyone in the Red Bull pit lane on the channel that we've got in the commentary box, but surely this should only be for a scheduled stop, and it is. So they're going to try and get him back, Megan, onto a decent strategy. They've put him onto the hards, and by my calculation, he does have 2 sets of the softs left for later on in the race. So Albon could still play a part. It's early days yet.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of pit stops. I mean, he's literally had a crash. Think of a word.
Yes, he's had a crash in the odds at race control. Incident involving Albon and Magnussen is under investigation causing the collision. So Albon's day might not be over just yet. Dad, race control.
Yeah, Albon getting sticker reds on, and he's complaining of a vibration. So that's probably why they changed the tyres. It's a little early to change the tyres, but he did have that collision, and it's probably not the balance of the wheels out, so in the front wheels. So better to change and see what he can do.
Yes, thank you, Dan, at Race Control. He'll be giving us information like that throughout all of the race here, live on YouTube. Get your questions in or comments on the race. We want to know them so we can have something to say, ideally. Get your comments in. You are a valued viewer as we watch along the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, as we on board with the back now of Sebastian Vettel, looking to the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly in 10th and 11th place, as we start the 8th tour of this wonderful circuit. And that wing, by the way, Megan, is bigger than it looks. It's a lot bigger. DRS has finally been enabled, so now we're going to see them overtaking. But artificial, yes, but still, it provides some close racing.
It does. It really does.
So, going forward, is Vettel really in a position to challenge for the points today? He's been off all weekend. He had a bad second practice as well.
Unless everyone crashes up above, I don't think that's possible right now.
I think he'll be out of position at the first pit stop going forward. And
as long as he's not in the pit lane every now and then.
Yeah, if he doesn't make... Well, you predicted a 2-stop strategy in our pre-show that aired just before
Albon's
this.
so far proving me right.
Yes, Albon is proving it right. It's going to be a 2-stop for him this afternoon. It's a question is, if we get another safety car, we might have a 2-stop. Race control, over to you.
Yeah, a question for Megan. It's clearly both Mercedes are lapping a lap better than Verstappen and Leclerc and Sainz. So the question is, right, can any of them, is this just a 2-horse race today? Or is it the fact that they're being held up? I don't think they are being held up by Verstappen being not as quick, because I think Leclerc and Sainz are about the same. So this is looking like a 2-horse race.
Megan, rebuttal?
I don't think it is. I think that it's highly likely there'll be another safety car, and then they'll all have to come together again. Though I think everyone needing to pit again, and all the pit lane stuff that's going to go on, is going to have some effect. I mean, it's only start of a race. So.
Highest number of safety cars in one race is only 2, and it's happened 3 times, 2003, 2013, and 2018. They have all been affected by rain going forward. So, rain, I don't know why I said that. They've all been affected by safety cars, and only 10 races have been affected by rain here at Silverstone. And I say that because in my ear, I just got told that it's a 60% chance of rain later on in the race. So that could be something to watch going forward here. On board with Sebastian Vettel, 10th place, chasing down Esteban Ocon, but he's only got a 5/10 gap to Pierre Gasly. So it's really just a 3-horse race in the midfield, which we have. It's weird calling Ferrari a midfield team, but they are a midfield team at the moment, aren't they? They're 5th.
Yeah, they really are.
Dad, race control.
Yeah, Gasly, if you look, he's closing in on Vettel. Vettel is really under pressure. Right, he's now within the mirror range of Vettel.
He is, you can see him.
I can see within the next 3 or 4 laps, he'll be right on top of him.
Well, keep an eye out if that happens. I think it is going to, because lock up for Vettel coming into the Vale chicane as well. That's not going to help his chances at all. Lando Norris, P7, he's got Lance Stroll just behind him. LN and LS are in battle for 7th place at the moment as we start lap 10 of 52. I think you're right, Dad, at race control, because we can see Gasly is visibly closer to the back. And with DRS as well, he might just have an opportunity this lap. But Vettel was shaping up for a move on Esteban Ocon. He got a good exit line coming through the back of the track, opens up the DRS. And I don't think he's going to have close enough to go into Brooklands this time. He is not. But I'll tell you what, the battle behind with Antonio Giovinazzi and Danny Kvyat could be one to watch, as they just had a little bit of a ding-dong down the back straight of the Wellington Straight. And no position gain there for Kvyat. And there's a new picture-in-picture. That's very MotoGP, isn't it? We pull open a gap now to see on board of Lewis Hamilton, the race leader at the moment. That is a complete copy of MotoGP, but I'm loving every minute of it as well. So we can keep an eye on Hamilton leading the race at the moment. He's got 1.6 seconds to Valtteri Bottas in second, a further 5 seconds to Max Verstappen. He is absolutely controlling and dominating this race. He's after 7th heaven of being with Michael Schumacher at winning this event numerous times and the Hockenheim ring. And Hamilton has only won 6 races here so far, but he has taken a 7th pole, and history shows us he will take a 7th win as well. So that is one to watch going forward. We are live all throughout the race as well, so don't worry. We are not going anywhere. It's lap 11 of 52 as we keep going on. And in that battle between Ocon, Vettel, and Gasly and Giovinazzi and Kvyat, it's hotting up as well right now as Vettel is just pulled out a little bit, but Giovinazzi is having to defend big time as round the outside into Brooklyn. Swooping is Danny Kvyat with an absolute barnstorm move. And that would have got the crowd cheering if they were in attendance here at Silverstone. What's another thing that we have to go, oh, not here. But we keep racing on, and it's a great race so far. Kvyat now ahead of Giovinazzi, and now he's only got his teammate in front of him before points scoring positions become available with Vettel, who looks to be dropping down the order. He was very close to Esteban Ocon. The gap now 0.7 of a second, but assure me, dear listener, it is bigger if you look at it on your screen at the moment. On board with Lance Stroll, he is closing up on the McLaren of Lando Norris into Stowe. Might have a little look into the Vale chicane, but he's got a poor exit compared to Norris. Fastest lap goes to Valtteri Bottas, a 1:30.518 at the moment. He's having complete dominance with that car at the moment. Not dominating the race, of course, but he's having dominance with his own little race. But Hamilton controlling the field. Megan, anything to add so far during the race? When do you think the pit stops are going to happen?
I think the pit stops will happen around halfway because everyone will have to have new tyres because also
so you
it's getting cloudy.
Still 2 stop or 1 stop now? Because everyone's now going to come up to the first pit stop window.
I think it'll more likely be 2 stops since I think that isn't going to be the last safety car in this race.
You're very determined on that safety car. History does show that we could have 2 safety cars. So well, every time you've been in the commentary box this weekend, the session has been stopped. So just keep your fingers crossed.
The curse.
Yes, you are. just like Brendan Hartley, you were to his career in Formula One. Good afternoon if you're listening, Brendan, or good morning because you're in New Zealand.
We mentioned him the other week and he got fired.
Yeah,
Same
bad.
day.
Her fault in the box. Coming up now, we're seeing a little bit of a battle developing in the lower half of the field. We've got Grosjean, Raikkonen closing up on a battle. Russell is actually improving. He's 16th now. We've got a yellow, and someone's in the wall. Someone's in the wall big time. It's Danny Kvyat, and he has absolutely flown off the track. He's broken the rear suspension. The safety car is out, and he's gone into a concrete part of the track. And with just Armco barriers, he's lost it at the exit of Beckett's and Maggots and Beckett, and that is a big accident, and that might actually stop the race if he's damaged the tyre wall.
That's why I call that corner the butcher corner, because if you go wrong, you're butchered.
Absolutely right. So, and everyone's coming into the pit lane. Ricciardo, Norris, Ocon, Vettel, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Russell coming in. I think Grosjean's the only one continuing. It's mayhem down there. Renault double stacking, going on to the hard tyres. And then we've got Gasly coming in as well. And we've got Ferrari making sticker strategy. Yes, hard's going on for them. Just coming out ahead of the Renault. He's kept track position. And brilliant to see that Danny Kvyat has got out of the car and he is okay. That's great news.
Wheel, it's destroyed.
Dad, want to bring you in at race control? This looks like a puncture. I'm thinking.
Rather than a puncture, I think he's got that left rear wheel.
Let's take
on the things. Here's a replay.
Coming into Maggots. Oh, yeah, puncture.
Left rear wheel
puncture.
On the.
This might stop.
Left rear wheel on the bumps and on the artificial grass.
And the rear tyre, let's go. We're on board now. So he comes down towards Maggots, turns the car towards the left, hits the rumble strips. The car immediately lets go. It was a puncture, and he has hit, luckily, I believe, part of the Armco barrier, but I think he hit the Tech Pro first. It's a big accident. He did. He hit the Tech Pro first, then he hit the Armco, and it is a nasty accident. It's one of the fastest segments in Britain, and miracle to see he is getting out of the car and he is okay. But the question now is that Armco barrier damaged? We could see a stoppage. But you're right, Megan. We're 13 laps into this race. We've just had our second safety car.
I just said that as well.
Yeah, you did. Commentator's curse.
I am a curse for Formula One. I don't know what it is about me.
It's such a shame, though, as Lewis Hamilton pits for the first time. I think Bottas is coming in as well. They are going to double stack the two Mercedes. This is working brilliantly for Lewis Hamilton because he now goes onto the hard compound tyre, but Bottas is now stuck on it. So that neutralises the advantage that Bottas would have had to Hamilton in the second half of the race with him putting the mediums on. So this has worked brilliantly for Lewis Hamilton. He's now back on the same strategy as his teammate, as Ferrari make a pit stop for Charles Leclerc, and for once it's the hards. They've only got one set, so they're brand new. We know Leclerc prefers used. Dad, race control, Racing Point in as well.
Yeah, interesting there that all the top 7 or 8 actually stayed out and went another lap rather than be involved in that melee of cars from the midfield that came in straight away. Did they actually go past the pit lane entry?
Yes. Yes,
too late to do anything about it. Well, it's worked in their favour, hasn't it? Because of the fact that they're in and out without any trouble, and it's game on now.
It is game
for
on.
A good middle section of the race.
Game on, Megan. What just happened with Danny Kvyat?
He just shoved the camera away. He's angry. I think, no, not I think. I know he's angry. I mean, he's got that look of like tiredness and hate in his eyes that a driver gets after being out.
Race control?
That's because he watches a lot of Game of Thrones.
That's a good point. Now,
he always used to say, didn't he, that
he
used to like what to watch Game of Thrones.
If you're just joining us, we are under safety car for the second time today. The first one was Kevin Magnussen having a hard hit into the wall. The second is for Danny Kvyat losing it after having a puncture through Maggots. That is 180 miles an hour right into, first of all, a little Tech Pro and then hard into the Armco barrier, the metal part of the track. He's out of the car okay, but a nasty accident. And on lap 14 of 52, the safety car is out for the second time. And I want to bring you both into this. If that Armco and Tech Pro is damaged, we could have to have a little stoppage to the race, because remember when Kimi Räikkönen hit the Armco barrier, it had to be replaced and it caused an hour delay.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen here. I have noticed that the medical car and the other car that was there have actually pulled away from the incident at the moment, so the digger can get there to get the car up. I don't think so.
It would be ironic if with the very first race we decide to live stream, we have to do a lot of filler with a red flag. That would be ironic. Megan, what do you think?
I think that he didn't hit the metal barrier that much. I mean, he dented it slightly, just like the aftershock, though his main problem was near it, though not there, so it doesn't have to be stopped.
Race control, Dad?
Josh, what type of fillers do you want? Your mum's going to go down to the DIY shop.
Well,
is it just ordinary wood filler, or is it?
Well, many
people
people
need a lot of filler for that. Look at it.
Yeah, that's a big accident for Kvyat. The car's absolutely destroyed. Well,
don't you think that those two the carcass of the wheel and the wheel at the back makes that car look a bit like Gordon Murray's six-wheeler?
It does actually, doesn't it? The way the wheel's fallen over. Let's just have another look at it again. Comes through maggots, and on entry, a big suspension failure and puncture. It was a puncture. It did fail, and a hard hit into the wall there, Megan. And I can't believe that's not going to create some delay.
I don't know. I mean,
he lost it on entry.
Yeah, created a delay yesterday.
I think the good thing is, it looks like he hit the Tech Pro barrier and the tires that are there instead. And this is him hitting the camera, walking away. You can see the cameraman and whacks the camera towards the bush there. And that's not really good at all.
No, he's just angry though.
Wonderful to see that on every Marshall post here at Silverstone, we have the LGBT flag as we try to support every culture. And We Racers One is a very, very hot issue in the paddock that they want to do something going forward. Race control, over to you. The digger is now on the track.
On that subject, we had during the national anthem, the Black Lives Matter display was really well done today.
That's brilliant. After the mess of Hungary,
Grosjean and Lewis have had a word with a lot of the drivers and got them to agree to a lot of this, and it's a good show of support for the movement. And afterwards,
yes,
Martin saw Lewis chatting heavily with Alex Albon. Maybe I think it wasn't to do with that. I think it was just a pep talk because Alex has had quite a bad weekend up to now, and he's better than that, and let's get him back to the situation that he was in early on in the year, where everybody was talking him up instead of talking him down.
Agreed.
Because Alex is a great young British driver with Thailand as his parents' thing, and he races under their flag, and he represents both countries with pride, and he represents us with pride, doesn't he?
Does indeed.
He's a great representative, and so I want him further up the grid for next week's race. Let's hope Red Bull can pull things out.
I absolutely agree. Red Bull and him and Albon, they're going to work together a lot more. Lewis Hamilton is trying to pass the safety car. I think he's trying to make it speed up, but I don't think Lewis is realizing that we're approaching the incident zone as well. Hamilton desperately trying to keep tyres. They're on the hard compound now, so these are going to take a lot longer to heat up and get temperature in them. Only Romain Grosjean, who's now up to 5th place, hasn't pitted. He stayed onto the medium compound. I think that was a mistake there, because now Grosjean's going to fall back in his next pit stop. Everyone else is good now, either for the rest of the race or for the majority of it. If we got another safety car, they might just stick it out. But we've only ever had 2 safety cars in succession here at Silverstone. If we get a third to date, that will be a record. They are assessing the track barrier at maggots, so we might be under the safety car at least for another lap while they determine whether or not they have to either replace it or repair it. You can see they're just clearing out the way now, but the car's still on the track as well. They're still having a lot of trouble recovering that, so a lengthy delay here. as we're under the safety car at Silverstone for a puncture to the rear right of Danny Kvyat's car, sent him off at 180 miles an hour at the Maggots complex into the wall and has brought out the safety car. He is okay. He is back out of the car and is seemingly all right. So then, Megan, race update so far. What have you enjoyed of it after the practically only about 5-6 laps we've actually had?
I've enjoyed Vettel going off a bit.
Yeah, that on the opening lap as well.
They've been very picky this weekend with everything.
They have. It's also, I just want to say quickly, it's unusual to see two big incidents in one race. Magnussen was off the track in a big impact, and now we've got
Within 10 laps of each
within 10 laps of each other. Yes. Also, Magnussen's accident was a tribute as well to the new gravel trap system, which is at the exit of Club Corner. So that's new for this year. Race control.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Megan, has Grosjean pitted?
No, he hasn't.
No.
No, Grosjean hasn't pitted yet. There's
'Cause
debris.
Grosjean's gone up 12 places.
There's debris.
Now, he
yeah.
must clearly be on it. He's also on the different tyre to the rest of the field.
He's on the mediums.
Yeah, so he's on a totally different strategy. Now, we saw this in F2 this morning,
Yes.
and it really worked. And, you know, this place might seem, you know, but I think if he can
Make the tyres
make
work.
these tyres
yeah.
last, right, you stand a chance of getting a Haas in the top 10.
Lewis just said, can the safety car go a little bit faster, please? And I can understand why, to be fair. But he is approaching the danger zone at Maggots and Beckett's. Across the national pitch straight towards Copse Corner now we go. We're under the safety car here at Silverstone as we wait and wonder how long we're going to be under it. It's a long delay, isn't it, Megan? And I'm surprised that it's taking this long to get the car off the track. The British Marshals are usually the best in the world at this, but something is taking them a little bit longer. They're now going through the debris part of the track, and I'm not too sure I would want to be running over debris at a part of a track where we already had one puncture, because might cause another. Doesn't really make me feel good here. What's Leclerc saying? Leclerc being told to warm the front and rear tyres.
And he says he's trying.
He's trying, but it's not working. We can hear the team radio in our headsets, but obviously we can't broadcast it to you. But it's a little bit loud to talk over it there, as they were talking just a little bit loud on the radio. So apologies we couldn't talk to you for a few seconds. Lance Stroll is at the moment running quite well. He's in 9th place, just ahead of Vettel, and that pit stop might help him to move further on. Don't forget, he has got a Mercedes 2019 car, a direct copy. So in the second half of this race, or even the latter half of the first half, he could look quite good. We're not even at half distance yet at the British Grand Prix. It's lap 18 of 52. We've been on air now for 50 minutes as well. The race has been on for 40 minutes, and we've had quite a lot of delay time. Dad?
Yeah, I'm quite interested now to try and figure out whether or not we're going to have the midfield race start from and be frantic from lap 35 or lap 40. That's usually when they all start to wake up.
Yeah.
And with this safety car, I think that it will be they'll try and do it a bit earlier. So yeah, I think it'll be lap 35 that this race starts to become into itself. Definitely up front is the top 4 are, you know, in a battle on their own.
Yeah.
But everybody below that, and as I said just a minute ago, Grosjean's he's nicely placed. If he can keep these tyres for another 10 laps.
He could have a top 10 finish later on in the race because he'll be on fresher tyres in the second half compared to everybody else if they don't stop again. But one safety car could spoil Grosjean's strategy. So Haas just trying everything. We've lost 3 drivers. One never took the start in the form of Nico Hülkenberg. Kevin Magnussen went off the track on, I forgot what lap.
Lap 3.
Thank you, Megan. And now we've lost Danny Kvyat on lap
30.
Lap 13. The safety car is in. It's coming in. And they've let them know, Megan, pretty late because the lights are still on the safety cars. We're approaching Stowe. Now they've just been extinguished. That was very late call to bring the safety car in. But obviously they didn't need to stop the race. They handled it under the safety car, which surprised me because I honestly thought we might have to have a stoppage because he hit that tyre barrier in the wrong angle. But a puncture for Kvyat put him off the track. That's going to play on everybody's minds as we get this race restarted for the third time today. Lewis Hamilton controls the field. No overtaking until the start-finish line. And the green flags are out. The British Grand Prix is go again. And Hamilton leads the way from Bottas, from Verstappen, Leclerc. And then look at Grosjean. He's right up behind Leclerc. As Dad said, he's on those tyres still. Not in the pit stop window for him. So those tyres are going to be fresh. Compared to everyone else's hard compound. Right round the outside, that's Lando Norris trying to get through on Ricciardo. There's a lock-up at the back of the picture. Norris tries to go 3 abreast as his teammate Carlos Sainz has a slow exit out of the loop and down the Wellington Straight. Leclerc going for a move. Has to back out of it as Grosjean's under pressure. Vettel pulls to the outside. Ricciardo tries now to get through and forces him wide as Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris sends it round the outside and makes the move stick brilliantly round the outside of Luffield. But now Lando's on a charge. He's trying to get past his teammate Carlos Sainz coming into Cobb's corner. He's on the outside. Give him space and he's off the track. Lando's off the track. Got sent wide, loads the understeer, keeps it back on, doesn't lose his position back to Ricciardo, but cheeky from the McLaren drivers there, Megan.
Oh, there's a time penalty for Alexander Albon for 5 seconds.
That was for the incident with Kevin Magnussen. That put Magnussen out of the race, yes, causing a collision. So that puts paid to his afternoon finally. As now we see the battle going further and further. Renault versus Renault versus Renault. I say that because don't forget, the McLarens are powered by Renault engines. They're battling for 6th place at the moment as well. Ricciardo 8th place. The battle rages on here at Silverstone as we click over to lap 20 of 52. So we've still got quite a long way to go in this race, and it is going to be a long drag, and it's going to be fun. Megan, prediction: who's going to be in the top 3? Are we just going to see it remain at the front how it is?
No.
Oh, you're predicting something different. 2 seconds, we see a replay. Ricciardo got sent wide by Carlos Sainz. Lando went right round the outside at Luffield, got the power, nearly took off Ricciardo's front wing. But a great battle as Lance Stroll goes right round the outside of Brooklands on a very shaky Esteban Ocon. And Ocon now been displaced. And Stroll up into 9th, chasing after Ricciardo. Back to you, Megan.
Actually, it's kind of linked since I kind of want Stroll to be in 3rd. And again, I always like Stroll to be leading.
Yeah, Stroll in that racing point as well. He deserves some luck. Everybody says he's here just because of his father. But as we said in the commentary, he does require super license points. And he is actually a Formula 3 champion. He has got some pace, this kid, as he keeps going up and up and up. And actually, I think I'm older than him as well. So that makes him, I can say that. Down the Hangar Straight once again, on board with Lance Stroll, the only representative for Racing Point in this Grand Prix. Megan's checking on her stat book. And now Stroll's joined this Renault party as Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:30.371. He's now the fastest time. So Hamilton topping the board with a new lap. Bottas is 1.095 seconds off the pace. So he's a second out of that DRS zone. Megan.
You're actually 6 months younger.
I'm 6 months younger than Ocon.
Yeah, but it's only by 6 months.
By Stroll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, same year then. Same year at school. I'll take that.
Yeah, you're same year at school.
Dad, over to you, race control.
Your mum said in that waistcoat you look about 8 years older than him.
Oh, very nice. Yes, criticise my fashion. Very nice as
fashion.
well. As we go forward as well, Norris versus Ricciardo versus Stroll versus Ocon. Stroll coming into Brooklands, looking good as well. And Megan, can he get the move done?
I think possibly he could. Under the right conditions.
He's looking good at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just having a little bit of a look at the timing monitor now to try and see where they are. And I can't see Stroll being stopped. He's got the pace in that car. And you predict him for a podium. He might take, actually, Leclerc. And it'll be a battle with Verstappen. Is that Racing Point quicker than the Red Bull? at this stage.
Let's just have a look at the timing, shall we?
Pulls to the inside very late. Carlos Sainz going for a move on Grosjean at Stowe. Grosjean holds it round the outside as much as he can, but it's not working going forward as well. Hamilton a 1:30.188, the fastest lap of the race so far. And Hamilton going faster and faster and faster. Looking good. So, going forward, Hamilton leads the way from Bottas, from Verstappen, Leclerc fourth as well. Fifth place going forward is Grosjean. Sainz, Norris, Ricciardo, Stroll, Ocon rounds out the top 10. So, who is going to be the next one to fall victim? Well, looking at this, he's got a lovely run into Brooklands, has the McLaren of Carlos Sainz on Grosjean, trying to get the move done into Lovefield. If he gets a good exit, now put your foot down. Get the power, control the oversteer, but he's lost it. Back to down at race control.
Yeah, on a serious note now, if you notice at the restart, the Ferrari of Leclerc got left behind, and now there is a clear gap of 0.4 of a second.
Megan? Sainz on the radio.
Yeah, it's just saying about how dangerous driving.
At the moment, it's going well. Thank you, down at race control. Sainz says DRS again. This time, is he going to get past Grosjean? Grosjean's been done for dangerous driving once. He does it again. He nearly takes off the front suspension of the McLaren. But Sainz sends it out the inside at Stowe and breezes past Grosjean. Grosjean, aggressive driving again. And the stewards might give him a black and white flag for that one. That was a bit too close for comfort. That could have sent Sainz flying sky high down the Hangar Straight. Dad?
Yeah, Grosjean there was accused as the head of the Drivers' Association. He should know the rules. He was accused of defending more than once by Sainz. Did you agree with that?
I did, yeah. There was a bit more than I was going to take it for from that. And I would have backed out of that move if I was Sainz. So round of applause that he managed to hold it up on the inside. 6th place on his first appearance at Silverstone for Romain Grosjean back in 2012. And it was his only point-scoring finish here at the British Grand Prix as well. So, yeah, there you go. How about that for something? Grosjean did actually crash out of the race a couple of years ago. If you remember, he made contact with Nico Hülkenberg at Copse Corner, flying off the track and causing a safety car later on in the race. So, at the moment, it is lap 23 of 52. Hamilton leads from Bottas. Then we get Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz the top 5 at the moment. As we continue moving on, Megan, would you say there's a two-stop strategy? It looks like that could happen. When are you predicting? Hard tyres can go the majority of the race, but I'm not thinking they could. When are you predicting another, either safety car or another?
Maybe around lap 37.
Is that enough to get them to the end of the race?
It should be enough to get them to the end of the race.
We'll have a look. Race control, over to you.
I've just said about how Leclerc at the last safety car restart was left behind by the front three.
Yep.
But aren't we all surprised that Vettel has gone slightly backwards one place rather than actually attacking Stroll? Ocon's now in front of him, and then Stroll's doing a strong race.
We just opened him up on the
Ricciardo.
board.
I don't think Vettel will get any higher than 10th.
No, I don't think he will. Megan, you're even doubtful to get the points.
Yeah.
He's in 11th place at the moment. You did say that earlier on in the broadcast. I think you're right there, Dad. That Ferrari slipping back, and it's not looked good this weekend. Vettel, in terms of free practice, didn't have a great session. In the first free practice, he didn't even get out in the session with an intercooler issue. He was 18th in free practice 2. He had a strong session, actually, in free practice 3. He was 14th, his highest of the weekend, and then, of course, in qualifying was his best when he qualified in P10, but he's had a bad weekend here at Silverstone. Race control.
Yeah, on the subject of Danny Kvyat and pushing the cameraman out of the way, was it anger, or has it somebody else has suggested that it might be the social distancing?
Good point. 2 seconds. Lando Norris going for Romain Grosjean into Stowe. Lando has the inside line, pulls to the out. Grosjean still has it, but I think it's going to be a do-or-die move into Vale. Lando Norris cuts him off. Grosjean can't get through, and up into 6th place goes the Brit of Lando Norris. I think you're right, Dan, actually, going back to the Danny Kvyat situation. I think it must have been social distancing with a touch of anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, right, we've seen since he came back into Formula One, since he married little Miss PK and got even littler Miss PK in his life, his little baby, right, he's been a much more mature driver. And it's understandable that he gets upset. But
Yeah.
I just think it's very tight in that area where that cameraman and him was.
I'm surprised he wasn't. Yeah.
It's like just behind the barriers, isn't it?
I'm
And
surprised.
there's another barrier to the right.
I'm surprised.
I think it could have been social distancing because it's not like Danny nowadays. He's a lot more mature and he's a lot more light-hearted, isn't he?
He is, and I'm surprised actually that they weren't stood behind the Tech Pro fence for that to happen. I think the F1 is going to have to look at where they put their cameramen in future and the camera women around this circuit as well. And we're just being informed that we have some issues on the track that the stewards are looking at. But I think we just missed it. So we're having another look. Black and white flag for Romain Grosjean, car 8 for dangerous driving. So that was it. So yeah, Grosjean has got a black and white flag for dangerous driving. Megan, that makes sense, doesn't it? Alan Permain, at Renault, celebrating his 500th Grand Prix as a Renault member and as a race engineer in Formula One. So yeah, good. Dad, race control.
Yeah, as we saw in British touring cars about 2 years ago, it's not really where you put the cameraman, it's where can the cars actually go. Do you remember the flying car that the cameraman was up scaffolding and the
Boardley hitting him? Yes, I do remember that. That was a couple of years back now. But it's nasty. Yeah.
You can do everything to try and make things safe, but you can't ever make it fully safe. This is a dangerous sport.
It is. Motorsport is dangerous. It says it on the back of every ticket and every pass you have to enter the paddock. Grosjean, black and white flag, currently running in 7th place. It's for the dangerous driving that he did a couple of laps to go to Lando Norris. So that explains everything as to what you want to know about Romain Grosjean at the moment. He is a man on a mission and a bit of an aggressive mission and doesn't always play by the rules. The rear suspension of that Haas just looks a little bit out of key and out of position. It's more bent on the right-hand side than I've seen any other car. So we'll keep an eye out for that. As a lot of dust kicked up at the exit at Chapel. That was from Lance Stroll, and it's going to compromise him to the back of Esteban Ocon. Ocon pulls around the outside. Stroll tries to defend. They go side by side. Stroll does defend. Ocon couldn't get the power to keep alongside. Coming into the rail chicane, Ocon tries the outside line, but Stroll blocks him again. Race control.
Yeah, on the subject of the Haas and is the wing, we thought this in the second race in Austria with Magnussen, didn't we?
Yes.
And it turned out it's how their paint job is on their rear wing and diffuser, not diffuser, the
DRS.
The DRS flap, right? It's the way they are, like on that Renault where it's got a yellow, it's black. On the Haas, isn't it?
It is black on the Haas, yes. You can't always see it.
Yeah, and it gives, and because of the DRS flap, right, it gives the impression on that Haas sometimes at certain angles that there's something wrong with the rear wing, but it's just an illusion.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think you're right, though. I think it is an illusion. I think Hulkenberg is talking to Natalie Pinkham at Race Control. At the pen, and we'll just keep an eye on what he says later on. But tragic for him not to take the start of the race, Megan, going forward as well. And he must be the most annoyed man in Formula One right about now, Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah. I've just noticed something with Leclerc's car. He's going very, very distanced from Verstappen, and he's allowing Sainz to come really close to him, which is unusual. The gap between Leclerc and Verstappen is 10 seconds, and Sainz and him 4 seconds.
So Leclerc backing off. He's on the same tyre. They all pitted, and the tyres are only 14 laps old. So surprised. They're all still very much packed in, aren't they? In little groups at the moment. Usually you see them spread out, but the midfield is tight and the front four a little bit separated. But Bottas is still keeping Hamilton in check. But Hamilton is now 1.8 seconds ahead, just clicks over to 1.9 seconds ahead now here at the British Grand Prix. Not bad. Not bad. If Hamilton wins today, as I said, it'll be his 7th victory at Silverstone. And well-deserved, yes. Annoying for the other drivers, yes, because every time we come here, it seems to be Hamilton is just unbeatable. The only man to beat him here in the run since 2014 is
Vettel,
well done.
2018.
I'm
Where they
surprised.
both won at their different races.
I'm surprised you knew that. Actually, I was
It-
coming to you on that one.
For
Yeah,
me, it's iconic because Hamilton won at Germany and Vettel
Vettel
won
won
it here.
Verstappen is on his own. He's on a Sunday afternoon drive at the moment. He's got, as you say, he's got 7 seconds to Bottas and then 10 seconds to Leclerc. Leclerc's backed off an awful lot, though. And he's falling into the trap of Sainz now as well. And look, this is
concerning me.
from Sainz backwards. Maybe Norris. It's
like follow the leader.
Yeah, it's stream after stream. We've got a Norris train at the moment. Race Control wants to speak to us. We see Bottas on a 1:29.764. Race Control, over to you.
Okay, hi. Well, Natalie's just spoken to Hulkenberg, and they still don't know what the fault is actually on the car. They just know that they can't start the car, and that it would be dangerous to start the car. And he also said something else that was interesting, and that was this might have been his only chance because Sergio might be back in.
Really?
Yes, it's all about the number of days that you have to isolate.
Interesting.
Because he isolated from Wednesday or Thursday,
and that might just take him over the week.
And he might just take in things, but we will see next week. Personally, I think Hulkenberg will be still in the car.
I agree with you. Yeah,
I agree.
I think Hulkenberg will still be in the car next week. But so far, the only pink Mercedes in this race is Lance Stroll, and he's in a battle with the team that has protested that car of Renault. Ricciardo is 8th and Ocon 10th, and Stroll right in the middle of that battle. But Stroll is closing now further and faster than ever. And I think he's going to have Ricciardo maybe this lap, maybe next lap, because he's right there. And Vettel a bit further back. Here we go, down the hangar straight then. Is Stroll going to have a look? He moved the car to think about it, but he's just a little bit too far back at the moment. The battle really seems to be between Gasly and Giovinazzi over 12th. Albon still stuck in 14th place. And Megan, when did he get that 5-second penalty? Did he get it just after the safety car came in? Because I think if he got it after the safety car came in, he hasn't served it yet. If he got it before, he pitted for new tyres. So that's something to watch out for. Dad,
I think he got it about 2 laps after.
Dad?
Yeah, obviously it's the main topic of conversation at the moment, what he said to Natalie.
Yes.
Ted Kravitz has asked about it and got an answer. The FIA rule is 10 days. So it
Perez
has to be
is out.
Hulkenberg next. Perez has got to be out.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that, Dad, for that information. Yep, so it is definitely Hulkenberg next week. Somebody better tell Hulkenberg that if you didn't know. On board with Alexander Albon, we understand he does still have that 5-second penalty. He got it after the safety car came in, so he has not served it yet at his pit stop. So he's still got that to contend with, and that would drop him just behind Russell at the moment. In 15th place, it dropped him down to 15th. Yep. Fast up again for Hamilton to get that bonus point of 1:29.712. And the gap's coming down, actually. It's 1.633, the gap at the moment between Hamilton and Bottas. So Hamilton's losing time to Bottas. Yes, it's only a couple of thousandth as we see him move going further ahead. And that's right round the outside. Gasly at Stowe gets past Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. Enter the pit lane for his second stop of the day is Alexander Albon. And this means that he will now serve his 5-second time penalty. So get your stopwatches out and time it. You'll have to stop and no mechanic can touch it for 5 seconds. This is basically just, let's serve the penalty, put on some tyres and see what lap we can get to. If he puts the hards on, he might get to the end of the race. He has got 2 sets of soft left, of course. 3, 4, 5, go. And yep, serves his 5-second time penalty. Puts on a set of the medium compound tyres now. And Albon had 1 new set and 1 old set to put on. And looking at it, he has put on a brand new set. So Simon Rennie, the race engineer this weekend, his new race engineer for Alexander Albon, brings his driver in, puts him on the mediums, and Megan, he should be quite good going to the end of the race if we get another safety car, as you're figuring it out as well in your head.
Yes, I am.
I
tend to steer off when I'm trying to do maths in my head.
Well, you work out if you can get to the end of the race on a set of mediums, because right now Grosjean hasn't pitted. He's on 30 laps on them. So you try and work that out. I think he will, but I think they've seen what Grosjean's doing and said, we want a piece of that. Under investigation, Antonio Giovinazzi is under investigation currently for safety car infringement. That's all it says. So Antonio Giovinazzi is under investigation. We've got the black and white flag for moving under braking on Sainz into turn 15, says the engineer to Grosjean. Grosjean says, are you kidding me? I left half the track. Well, I'm sorry, but you didn't there, Roman. It was clear, and even I winced in the commentary box, and I'm watching it on a screen. So, yeah, this is what happened once again, coming down the hangar straight. Yep, Sainz pulls to the inside, and Grosjean nearly takes off the front suspension, and Sainz had to back out of it that lap. It's not really that good, is it? But it was the black and white flag a couple of laps ago. It is the same black and white flag for Grosjean. That was on lap 22. It's now lap 32 of 52. The race starting to fly by. We've been on air for an hour and 10 minutes. The race has been underway for an hour exactly. And yes, we've had 2 safety cars, Megan, but the afternoon flying by here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
It certainly is. I feel like just a minute ago it was lap 13 and safety car was coming out.
And at the start of the race as well, it was all action at the beginning. Don't forget, we do not leave Silverstone after this race. We have another one next weekend. The 70th anniversary Grand Prix will be underway. As this is the battle for 15th between Raikkonen and Nicholas Latifi at the moment, as the fastest lap again to Valtteri Bottas, a 1:29.617. And Dad said it'll take up until about lap 33, 35 for this race to get interesting. It's starting to get interesting because Bottas is beginning to close down. And I wonder if they might just do something about the entrance to Chapel for next weekend's race, because we've seen a lot of drivers this weekend having some problems, as Kimi Raikkonen actually lifts off and lets Nicholas Latifi go through, as Latifi was clearly quicker and Raikkonen just wants no trouble. Rumour going around that Raikkonen is going to retire at the end of this year. So that's a rumour. His 2-year contract is up at Alfa Romeo. But that's the rumour anyway, that he is going to retire. We'll have more information for you when anything becomes available, but that is the rumour at the moment. Here's a replay, and as you see, Megan, he easily just let him through.
Yeah.
Raikkonen letting Latifi through. Megan, have you worked it out then? Can Albon reach the end of the race on these tyres?
I think it's quite possible, though if there's another safety car, then he may have to pit again due to all the damage. And if he's a part of it again, then
what tyre? He's got 2 sets of the soft compound left. Would he put those on?
Probably.
Just press the button, would you? Because at race control, we've got Dad.
Which one's that?
That one.
You were talking about whether or not we should do some little tweaks to certain corners.
Yes.
Now, at the moment, F2 are on 18-inch wheels, because in now 2 years' time, Formula One will be on 18-inch wheels, which give you a better grip to the surface. And so I don't think we need to change anything here.
All right. Thank you, Dad. Lap 34.52. Hamilton has just taken the fastest lap again from Bottas, a 1:29.326. The gap now 1.6 seconds. Hamilton responding to that loss of time. They're just switching left and right, aren't they, Megan? That's the situation at the moment, Megan.
Yeah, and what is up with Leclerc's car?
I'd say he's 17 seconds off now, is he, Verstappen?
Yes, and he is 5 seconds off Sainz.
Either the top 3 are checking out and Leclerc hasn't got the pace to catch up, or
something's wrong with his car.
Yeah, I think he might just
He's been going slow ever since the pit stop.
Yeah, I think he's trying to save these tyres. If the safety car does come out again, he doesn't want to pit, does he? So he is going to...
Well, it isn't working that much. I mean, you've seen his tyres.
He's going to hold off for as long as possible. It is lap 34 of 52 for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. We are live on YouTube. And Verstappen just being reminded, remember to drink. Did you remember to drink? And Max saying, thank you. So Max clearly not drinking his water. Or it's not actually water, but it's a fruit fluid, quite similar to what we have up in the commentary box as well. Megan?
I bet he kind of just forgets. It's like, I'm in the zone. And they're just like, You've got to
yeah.
drink your water or
The
drink.
fruit juice, yeah.
otherwise you'll pass out in a hot car on a hot day.
Well, they've
'Cause,
got
like, I'll take the chip.
They've got the
I'll take the
biometric
chips.
gloves now, haven't they? That take all of the blood pressure readings and all of the hydration readings as well. So it's all pretty much knowing exactly what the driver's doing in the car. Race control, over to you.
Did you hear the last radio from Verstappen?
Yes, that's what
It
we were
was
just
quite-
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. You
Sorry.
were talking about it. He's got nothing in front of him, nothing behind him. Right, he's bored, and so he turned round to his engineer and said,
Other way around.
yeah, the other way round. Are you remembering to drink?
Yeah.
You must drink.
They've got it as thank you, Dad. They've got it as lap 1 of the Kevin Magnussen accident, but
That
just
was
look.
not that wrong.
No, it was lap 3, as you said, but there's a replay of it. And club corner, Albon turning in. Magnussen didn't know he was there, breaking the rear suspension, skipping across the new gravel trap that's at the exit there, hitting
most
into
it
the
was
wall and breaking the suspension.
At most it was lap 2.
At most it was lap 2, yeah. It was not the opening lap of the race, for sure.
Yeah.
Safety car did come out, though, for a little bit. Then we had another safety car for Kvyat having an accident. Haas are getting ready, I think, for a pit stop. They're getting their gloves back on and ready to react.
Magnussen's team are just chilling.
I wonder... yeah. I wonder if this is going to... Well, this is going to be for Grosjean, obviously. It's a Grosjean stop. He's the only Haas left in the race. But I wonder... Time penalty for Antonio Giovinazzi. 5 seconds for that safety car infringement. So whatever it was that he did wrong under the safety car, he's been penalised now 5 seconds going forward.
That's 3 penalties we've got today.
Over to you.
We've got Albon with a 5-second time penalty, now Giovinazzi with a 5-second time penalty, and a black and white flag for Grosjean on lap 30, I believe, or 31.
Yeah, long day then here so far. And Hamilton, again, trading places at the fastest lap. He's going quicker and quicker and quicker at the moment. Bottas is now 1.6 seconds away. And is that a 30-second gap or a 20-second gap between Verstappen and Leclerc? 20 seconds.
That car has something wrong with it. He would not be going that slow.
He's trying... Oh, hang on. Diving up the inside. Ricciardo gets past. Grosjean very late at Brooklands. Not telegraphing that move. Ricciardo goes through and does a brilliant job. And now Grosjean on pretty worn tyres, 36 lap old tyres, he's coming under pressure from Lance Stroll as we head up towards Copse Corner for the 36th time. Hamilton's just started lap 37 now. And it's all going to be a bit homespun, isn't it, right now, for Haas? They've got a pit. They haven't pitted yet, actually, so that's why the Haas boys are getting ready for a pit stop. And I'm just wondering, if that safety car comes out, is it going to be an effect? As we see Stroll now on the back, pulls to the outside of Grosjean, coming to Stowe, and Stroll easily on the better tyre compound gets ahead of Grosjean. Race control, over to you.
Yeah, we're predicting, as I was about to say, on
This
lap
lap.
38 to 39 that Grosjean, because he's starting to be losing ground to others. Megan got it right again, didn't she?
Yeah,
I got the exact lap right that
she's pointing. She's pointing.
The exact lap. Oh, I love being right.
He stopped. There's a problem with the rear tyre. It's not on right. Slow stop for Grosjean. He's put the hard compounds on, but something happened. I think it was a loose rear right tyre. Let's take another look. Oh, this is the overtake from Ricciardo a couple of laps ago. Pulled out very late, and Grosjean again went aggressive on defending as well.
Also, what I was going to say is Lewis has been on the radio saying that he's got a blister on the front left tyre. That's exactly reversed to last year when Valtteri was leading and he got a blister on the front left-hand side of the tyre.
How much?
Could there be, instead of a one-stop, a short 2-stop, a second stop by both Mercedes, and
they've got the time.
They've got the time to do it.
Even Verstappen has, and one safety car gives them that opportunity as well. As we've got a slow racing point, and obviously it's Lance Stroll, And Esteban Ocon was closing on him there. Gasly's past Vettel for 10th, and they're side by side this time. Gasly's trying to go right round the outside, and Stowe's got the inside coming into the Vale chicane. He does get ahead, and again, Vettel drops down out of the points to 11th. Gasly, with that new gearbox after the fire in Hungary, he's on fire this time, and he's ahead of Vettel now and into the points, P10. And he said, Megan and Dad, actually, both of you, that he struggled to keep in the top 10. Megan, you even said that he would struggle to get a point today. It seems to be playing out that way at the moment.
I must be psychic.
You must be psychic, yeah. Or you can read the timing screens better than anybody else can.
Which I can.
You can indeed. So, Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, top 6. Vettel's trying to come back down into Brooklands on Pierre Gasly. It hasn't worked. And now it's a long left and right. Back onto the national pitch straight.
Leclerc's times don't make sense in my mind. There's not enough to say that.
What's the timing gaps now?
22.701.
Not good. And this is how he did it. Right round the outside late on, at Stowe. And Gasly really did have to work to get past the 4-time champion there to try and really push. So, yeah, I agree. Was it Leclerc? Now 22 seconds adrift.
He's making it too easy.
Race control.
Kevin Magnussen's just said that the strategy that Grosjean is on was dramatically changed when his crash occurred. They decided to do the opposite strategy to everybody else. And so it was planned for a pit stop on 38.39.
Thank you, Dad. Interesting to know. So that strategy immediately became Plan B. Well, it was this race last year, remember, Megan, that the two houses made contact and retired on the opening lap. This time, Magnussen is still out on the opening lap, and Grosjean remains in the position. He's in 17th at the moment, but he's on much, much fresher tyres and will begin to carve his way through the field. What he needs now more than ever is a safety car, but the history points against him for that because we've only ever had 2 safety car periods. 2003, 2013, and 2018. Add to that now, 2020. We've never had 3.
Yeah, let's hope that we get 3.
Just to put a record in the book.
Yeah. Let something good happen this
Well,
year.
It could happen next weekend. We are racing here again at Silverstone.
Still, let something good happen this year.
2 races coming your way at the British Grand Prix this year of Silverstone. Don't forget, after this race as well, we've still got the British Touring Car Championship. Their third and final race of the day is coming your way at about 5:25. That's on ITV4. As a little bit of an oversteer moment there for Kimi Raikkonen coming out of Copse Corner and kicked up some grass into the way of the Thai driver, Alexander Albon. Race control, over to you, Dad. 2 seconds.
Yeah, what is the...
Sorry, 2 seconds. I have to interrupt you there because Albon's going to make a move on Raikkonen and breezes past. Raikkonen's just letting everybody through today. Race control.
Yeah, I'm just interested to ask Megan, does she know how long it takes to get in and out for the pit stop here, or have you got it?
I think I might have it somewhere on the race notes. I think it was 20 minutes. Sorry, 20 seconds, sorry.
20 seconds.
Well, yeah, 20 seconds.
Well, it all depends on what Bottas wants to do. But Lewis could actually drive that front till it's better again.
Yeah.
We've had that in the past. I can't actually see. I'm looking at the left front of Lewis now, and I can't actually see it. Do you reckon it's just one of these vibrations that he's seeing things?
Whatever he's done, he's just done the fastest lap of the race, a 1:29.282. I think he's just looking at it. I can see it on Bottas's front right. Bottas definitely has a blister, but I can't see it on Hamilton's. I need an onboard camera of his to have a look going forward.
I mean, Lewis knows because he's driving the car, but
look at
from
Bottas's
the outside.
Yeah,
from the outside, you can see Bottas has got a line, but Lewis hasn't on his car.
I think Ocon is going for a move on Stroll at some point. Stroll's gone very shaky coming through Stowe Corner down towards Vale. Ocon is desperately trying for a way to go through. We've just opened up the second screen on the world feed, and I can't see that happening anytime soon because I think Stroll's just got the advantage. But I think you're right, though. It's going to be a question whether or not Hamilton has got the nerve and pace to keep going.
Yeah, I'm looking at the close-ups of the front three, and actually, is this just a ploy by Lewis? Because his tyres look better than both of the other two, and in
trick
fact,
question, yeah.
Verstappen's got a wear on the, as usual for a Red Bull. He's got a wear mark coming on the because of the toe of the wheel.
Valtteri Bottas is on the radio. Oh, Bottas is saying the same thing, Dad. The vibration is getting a bit worse. It's not a flat spot. It just vibrates. So Hamilton and Bottas reporting the same thing. And we see this time and time again, Dad. We saw it in Austria as well. In the first race of the season, they have tyre issues going long in the race, and it's affecting them again.
Yeah, but as long as they don't become acute, because I can't see a problem with Lewis's tyre.
2 seconds, Esteban. 2 seconds, Esteban Ocon was going for a move there, but on Lance Stroll, but couldn't get through. Last of the late breakers is Stroll going into Stowe. Back to you, Dad.
Yeah, it's got to be like Valtteri's saying. It's got to be a vibration that the both of them are getting. And at this stage of the race, that should not be unusual. I've got a feeling that we won't see a change unless there is another safety car. And as you said, it's very doubtful at this stage with the way everybody's operating. Everybody seems to be gripping the track quite well. I can't see, unless somebody does a dive down the side of someone, another safety car occurring.
I agree.
This could be it till the end of the race. But it is hotting up a bit in that midfield.
It is. And Ocon is right on the back of Lance Stroll now. They are trying to make position after position after position going through. I think Megan spotted something on the timing monitor. She's got that noticing face on. 10 laps to go in the British Grand Prix. Megan.
Leclerc's just hit 25-second gap. He's got the highest gap on the field. I want to know what's making him have such a large gap.
Well, Verstappen could actually pit here. The top three could all pit and still come out 5 seconds ahead of Leclerc. That's how big of a gap he's got at the moment. That's how big of an advantage he's got over the field. So that's impressive. But coming into Chapel, down the Hangar Straight, is Ocon going to have the pace this time to get through on Stroll? He's charging a little bit, isn't he? With that DRS, Stroll went to cover a possible move on the outside. It didn't pay out. Coming down towards the Vale chicane. And he's still not getting that grip. So, no, Ocon can't get through. It's a bit like follow me leader, race control.
Yeah. Have you, on your timing screen, got Gasly and Vettel under investigation?
I'm not too sure. We'll have a look in a second. Megan's having a look now. We're just looking at the front tyre. And I'm sorry, but the tyre performance graphics are up. I do not see how that right front tyre, with a massive blister down the middle that looks like it's about 2 seconds away from exploding, has still got 60% left of tyre life. They are so wrong, it is embarrassing to have them on.
Oh, yeah.
You are right, Dad. Turn 15, incident involving car 10 Gasly and 5 Vettel was under investigation for leaving a track and getting advantage, but it's just come through now. No investigation necessary. So you were right.
Yeah, but I do have to disagree with both of you over the tyres, because I think Lewis's tyres are in much better shape than
Bottas,
Verstappen or Valtteri's.
I think Bottas is about 5 laps away from bang bang. So he's going to be praying for a safety car. He's going to nurse them for the next 8 laps of this race.
Well, it's not like he's going to get past third.
No, but Hamilton and Bottas have controlled this race brilliantly. It's been a 1 hour, 20-minute race so far, and they have just controlled it. Has a little puff of blue smoke from the tyre that is causing all the issues for Bottas. Doesn't fill me with confidence, and I'm starting to look
Blue smoke.
Yeah, just a little bit of a lock-up. I'm starting to look where Lando Norris is to see if he can make any improvements up. I think he's a little bit too far back unless something happens in front of him. Vote for your driver of the day. The vote closes at the end of the race. You can vote on f1.com/driver of the day. Megan has noticed something about Charles Leclerc.
26 seconds.
Headphone warning.
What
there.
is he doing?
It's very unusual. It's unusual, and I'm finding it more and more unusual. He's 40 seconds behind Hamilton as well, Megan, just to add insult to injury. If you look at the gap instead of the interval, as we see the battle for 8th place brewing between Stroll and Ocon is going to get ahead. I think this lap, this is very close. He's looking very close. He's looking the best he's been all weekend so far. Is he going to try and get past Lance Stroll? Of course, Ocon, former driver at Racing Point, and he got replaced by Lance Stroll as well. I had to sit a year out in Formula One. So, yeah, there you go. Because Racing Point was bought by Lawrence Stroll, and Lance, his son, got the seat, and Ocon was kicked out of Formula One, sole subject, but he's back in it this year. And now he's racing his replacement of the team. Stroll's having to go left and right. Now, to me, Megan, that screams moving under braking and moving twice, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, that is.
I think this might get a little black and white flag from the stewards there.
If the clerk goes up to 30 in his gap, then I will scream.
Can I just say, great job from George Russell to be 13th in this race, despite starting in 20th with that 5-place grid penalty. Williams are moving in the right direction. That is brilliant news.
Speaking of Raikkonen just letting everyone through, he just let Grosjean through.
So Raikkonen's down to 17th place. Yeah, I think Raikkonen's a bit disinterested today, isn't he?
Yeah, considering it's I don't care. If there's another one next week, I'll get that.
Considering Giovinazzi is now into 12th place and in this battle as well with Russell and Albon, and Russell has a big oversteer moment coming into the loop, and that's going to allow Albon through side by side into Aintree. Wellington straight. Well, can the Williams defend, or is he? Oh, of course we know what's going to happen. Through goes Albon on the inside. Russell's not going to make it easy for him though. But I think Albon has got the position. Yes, he has. So Russell down to 14th now. Race control, Dad.
It's a shame when they changed the strategy of Grosjean, they didn't expect to have such a bad hit stop.
Yeah.
And instead of being in that midfield battle, he's on the back end of it.
It's cost them. It really has cost them. And hopefully next weekend they can do better. Learn what you've done wrong. Do better. As now Ocon is right in the back of Lance Stroll. Whoa! Way too close. Stroll put his car in the middle of the track and then braked. Ocon went for the move. Stroll defended. Nearly caused a massive accident there. Ocon's going to be furious as Giovinazzi and Albon go side by side into Stowe. Albon right round the outside gets ahead into 12th place. Now sets after Sebastian Vettel and Pierre Gasly in the closing stage of this race. And if Albon gets a point, he deserves a massive round of applause. He served that 5-second penalty and he could get a point. A bad weekend for him. And it's just getting worse. But if he gets a point, it makes it up for it. He's had a terrible season thinking about it for Albon. Nearly won in Austria, taken out by Hamilton. A bad race in Styria. Bad race in Hungary, bad race in Silverstone. Down the Wellington straight, Stroll pulls to the inside line because Ocon sold in the dummy. Ocon sends it round the outside into Brooklands and secures the position into left field. Ocon finally moves up to 8th place and gets ahead of Lance Stroll. The question now is, can Stroll do anything, can fight back, coming down towards Cop's corner? Ocon's looking in his mirrors, but I think Stroll's a little bit too far back. Maybe, Megan, going into the straight, there could be something.
Possibly.
What do you think? What did you make of this move then?
Well, I think that it was a bit too wide. I mean, it could easily be undone.
That was Stroll basically moving over.
Yeah.
He went for a move that wasn't there. Stroll, black and white flag, unsportsmanlike behaviour. I told you that would happen, and it's happened. So Stroll with the black and white flag now for that dangerous collision a lap ago. Michael Masi, the race director, once again proving that if you do be a naughty boy, you do get punished, but without a penalty. So it's just a little warning there. We've seen the black and white flag used more times in the past 6 races than we have in the history of Formula One. So there's a little note for you. Still time to vote for your driver of the day. As surprisingly, Alexander Albon sets the fastest lap of the race now on a 1:28.874. But he's outside the top 10, so won't get that bonus point. And that is going to be looking at Lewis Hamilton now to still have that point. But of course, if it's nobody in the top 10, I understand that nobody gets it.
I think they should.
Yeah, I think that rule should just be put back. 5 to go then here. Over to you, Dad. Race control.
Yeah, Valtteri's complaining of visibility because of the vibration. It's caused him to drop back.
Yes, eyes.
Just a little bit. Verstappen had a good lap about 2 laps ago and took the fastest lap. But Albon's got it now. Albon, like you said, had the 5-second penalty. Yeah. Everything else has happened. And he's catching Vettel
2
at about
laps.
about a second and a half a lap. So he should be on top of Vettel with 2 laps to go.
That's going to be one to watch. Thanks, Dad. That is going to be one to watch. I think he could get 11th place. And, do you know, he might just get Gasly. That could be something as well. Keep your fingers crossed. But he'll definitely get Vettel, for sure. Gasly might just be a little bit out. But, of course, all it takes is one of the top 10 to drop out. Stellar race, though. Even though you're angry that he's 27 seconds off the pace, we've got double yellow, sectors 2 and 3.
Who is it now?
Don't know, but the track is clear. Track's clear again. So whatever it was, he has disappeared.
Can I canvas the yellow flag?
Yes. Fastest lap again for Alexander Albon. Oh, it's Kimi Räikkönen with a broken front wing.
Is that why it's been letting?
Yeah, Kimi Räikkönen. Day goes from bad to worse. The front half on his front left has disappeared.
How did he do that?
It is very unusual, isn't it? It's a clean break as well, and it hasn't gone underneath the car, but it's spewed off the front left part of the front wing. It's just offline. I think at the exit of Beckett's. Let's have a look.
How?
Oh, he's already broke it, look, coming through Stowe, and it rips off coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah, and it destroys the tyre as well.
How did you break it?
There's debris now at the fastest part of the track. They might throw a safety car for that one. Yeah, it's just been deposited at the exit of Beckett's. I don't know. I think it's a failure, to be fair. But we have gone green. No sign of a safety car. Raikkonen's in the pits to change the tyre and to change the wing. Meantime, Stroll tries that aggressive move again in defending Pierre Gasly for 10th place. And Gasly's on a charge down in towards the Vale chicane, pulls to the outside line, but Stroll locks up. Crucially, that's going to give the advantage to Gasly.
It actually worked out for him.
Coming into Cobbs, yes, it did. And now side by side down towards Abbey. And look at this, Stroll's having to defend. Gasly's going to throw it up the inside in turn 1 of Abbey. And a brilliant move. And up into 9th place goes Pierre Gasly, with Lance Stroll falling down the order quickly. Impressive move there, Megan.
Yes, it really is. And it's Leclerc is now on 29 seconds.
I was about to say before we saw Kimi Räikkönen, it's actually been a good race, considering that the Ferrari is not competitive. It's a good race that he'll finish 4th and get some decent amount of points for the team.
Also, can you count that quick yellow flag
Yes.
we just had? So technically we've had a Prix now.
Oh, not as a safety car.
I know.
Just
but
as a yellow.
still.
There was no virtual safety car that you can count it as. Gasly has made a brilliant move. Dad at Race Control, over to you.
Over the last few weeks, we've had a lot of complaints about the pink Mercedes and its air ducts and things like that. Today, they don't seem to have the pace. One didn't start.
Oh,
the other one is clearly struggling.
Sorry, it's Valtteri Bottas! Valtteri Bottas has got a puncture! And any chance of a Mercedes 1-2 has been blown out now! A front left to failure! We said he had tyre issue! I said he was 5 laps away from blowing! But it's blown! Valtteri Bottas is out! Mercedes will not score double! Albon now gets ahead of Vettel! He was in striking distance! And that promotes Leclerc onto the podium as well! Albon's gone through on Vettel for 11th place, and he's after Stroll for a point! But Valtteri Bottas was limping home with a shredded front left tyre, and he is out of the British Grand Prix, and he is shedding debris left, right and centre. Is it Lewis Hamilton as well? No, it's Bottas for sure.
I was going to say.
The timing graphic is saying no, it is definitely Bottas. It's not Hamilton. It's not. It is Bottas. And now it's ripped up, and his championship hopes go from bad to worse because
he needs to stop somewhere now.
Unbelievable. He's going to get the black and orange flag to come in. Dad, unbelievable turn of events here at Silverstone.
Yeah, that's not Lewis.
It's definitely Bottas.
It's definitely Bottas.
Given the fact it says 77, I think it is.
The tyre graphics and the graphics are saying Hamilton. I can assure you it's not. And a brilliant call from Red Bull. They've brought in Verstappen to pit him because, as you said, Megan, he's got that 30-second gap to Leclerc. So he's putting on those soft compound tyres, brand new he had, and he's going for the fastest lap to get a bonus point. Brilliant strategy to do that, because he's got such a big gap to Leclerc, who, as we've just said, had an impressive day. Yes, Megan, he's 30 seconds back, but he's going to win the race on the podium as Valtteri Bottas comes in and Charles Leclerc goes up, and Bottas will be lucky to be in the top 10. Watch out if Albon gets the top 10 spot. Dad!
Yeah, they're changing the tyre to get Valtteri out. Hopefully no other damage. But will Lewis come in for a free pit stop now?
I think his next time will be 1 lap to go. I think he's got to risk it. Albon's into 10th place. Alexander Albon started in 14th place, got a penalty, had to pit again 3 times. He's now at 10th place with the fastest lap, which means he'll get a point for finishing 10th and a point for the fastest lap. That's absolutely brilliant. As we see Bottas now on a set of reds, but he's outside the top 10. He won't get any points. It's the last lap of the British Grand Prix of 2020. Everything has exploded. And now Lewis Hamilton, as Dad said just a second ago, he's going to have to go slow to maintain it. He's got 33 seconds. He's going to have to go slow. And Albon's going for 9th at Cup's corner. And he makes the move on Stroll. Brilliant move up the inside. Albon is unstoppable as Ricciardo gets 4th and another puncture. It's Carlos Sainz blowing front left as well. They move into a softer compound next weekend.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's a broken front as well. So 3 punches in one race. It looks like we've owned 2013 all over again. Sainz dives into the pit lane. Sparks flying off the McLaren left and right. Ricciardo up to 4th, Norris to 5th. And that promotes Albon up. And Lewis Hamilton! Hamilton with a puncture! The race leader with a puncture on the closing lap of the race.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
It's the front left. It's the front left.
What is it with outside today? Keep going.
Verstappen's going to win. Verstappen's going to win the British Grand Prix. And Norris is going to be on the podium. Unbelievable. Verstappen's pitted. It's cars. That's what it is. It's cars. The tyres blown. And Lewis Hamilton is limping home with Max Verstappen closing down. Dad, what is happening? This is unbelievable. Sainz in the pit lane. Can he do it? This is so close, 18 seconds. This is the craziest finish to a Grand Prix. Come on, Lewis. The whole of Britain is willing you on. Verstappen is going for it. I think he might do it. We had a crazy end to the race in Formula 3, but Lewis Hamilton, with a broken front tyre, takes his 7th win and wins the British Grand Prix with 3 wheels on his wagon. Verstappen is 2nd. What a crazy end to the British Grand Prix. Hamilton, 3 wheels on his wagon, wins for the 7th time at Silverstone. Verstappen is 2nd and Leclerc is 3rd with Ricciardo 4th. Norris will come home in 5th. Bottas versus Vettel now for points as well. As Vettel's into 10th, Bottas sends it up the inside. Vettel is going to defend everything for points. Albon finishes 8th and gets 3 points. And Vettel gets the last point from Bottas. But in the most bizarre finish to a Formula 1 race I have ever seen in my entire life, Hamilton nurses a puncture around half a lap and takes victory at the British Grand Prix. That is amazing and bizarre. Megan, Dad, over to you first.
Yeah, have you ever seen a last lap like that? It was a case of all the front runners, would they get through the line with 4 wheels? It's amazing. That was brilliant. We were cheering Lewis on all the way. Like, great result by Lewis.
I have never seen the end of a Formula 1 race more dramatic. Formula 3's first race ended in the pit lane. Formula 1's end with Lewis Hamilton taking a 7th win at Silverstone with 3 wheels on his wagon. Megan.
Now I'm thankful for Leclerc having that big of a gap.
He wouldn't have won but you know, can I just say, masterstroke from Red Bull. But if they hadn't have done that, Dad, he would have won the race. So it's a high that they stopped the puncture risk. It's an absolute low. But can I just say, Dad, Hamilton may have won the race, but his car's underweight for having a puncture. Is that going to be an issue? Over to you.
Yeah, Helmut Marko has just gone over to the pit wall to ask why they pitted Max. Because if Max had still been behind Lewis, when Lewis got his puncture, he'd have won this race.
Twitter has just exploded with loads of bizarre faces. Mercedes are that powerful, they can win with 3 wheels. Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix with 3 wheels on his wagon. It blew at cops. He had to get it round the entire lap, and he does it. That is the most bizarre, crazy, and beautiful thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
It proves how good of a driver he is.
Bottas had it a lap earlier, and I just had this feeling, you said, Dad, on the last lap, that Hamilton would have to go so slow, and he just held it off. He just got it. Verstappen was going for it. He's wrecked those tyres, but he's just held it off. And I never get to say this, but because we're live, I can actually say it. I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
Anyway, that was... I don't know whether that has ever happened before.
That is amazing. This is it. Look, coming into the last corner. This is on board with Bottas, I believe, first of all. So into club corner. And then, look, he has the failure at the exit. That on the last... This is Bottas. This is when he had his failure a couple of laps earlier. He managed to get into the pit lane. He got on those soft tyres. This is Sainz having the puncture. And again, Megan, it's that front left tyre. We've seen 4 punctures now in this race. And there's Hamilton's. It actually blew at Brooklands. So he had to get the entire lap in order to take the checkered flag. Look at that. 3 wheels. And Hamilton takes victory. That is bizarre as anything. 3 wheels on me wagon. And Hamilton still wins the British Grand Prix. Megan, I'm so glad we are live here on YouTube. Somebody saved that. I'm sweating buckets. But that is a moment. I'm so glad we decided to do this race live on YouTube. That is such a moment in history. That is brilliant. Look at that. It is absolutely shredded. But Lewis Hamilton, he doesn't make it easy, but wins the British Grand Prix. Megan, just quickly, run us through the race, if you can.
Okay, so on lap 3, as I have called it, Magnussen has a wheel off. All incidents involving wheels today, conveniently.
Everything involved wheels.
I don't think it's been a good time of it because
I'm just going to interrupt you. That finish was predicted by Pixar about 15 years ago. That's exactly what happened in Cars.
Seriously?
With Lightning McQueen having a puncture. Lewis has just proved it's possible in real life as well. And that is unbelievable. He's getting out of the car and he's shaking. You can see it. I'm shaking, still in the box. Dad, over to you.
Yeah, it's a great result for Renault today. And Albon's gone from 10 laps ago, being in last place to finishing 8th.
And he gets 3 World Championship points. That is amazing. What an end to this British Grand Prix at Silverstone. We'll run you through the whole results in a few minutes when one of us have stopped collapsing. Hamilton's so much expected. Hamilton's inspecting that front left so much. But also, we've got to talk about this, Megan. 3 tyre punctures on the last lap.
And the first incident involves a wheel.
All on the front left. But is it a fact that they had to push those hard tyres so long in the race? 39 laps, Lewis did. 40 laps further. And the tyre compounds, worryingly, Megan, are getting a step softer next week. And there's nothing Pirelli can do about it because they've produced them all for next week. So the tyres are now a set slower, a set softer next week. We're going to see more of this.
Quite a few more punctures next week.
Well, the whole reason Kvyat's out of the race is he had a puncture and it flew him into the wall.
Yeah, and the whole reason Magnussen's out of the race because his wheel came off.
I've never seen that. Okay, Megan, we're just going to hear from the top 3, but obviously we can't broadcast that online. So, Megan, while we're hearing from the top 3, can you please talk us through what happened in the race?
Okay, so Magnussen on lap 3 had just completely flew into the wall by getting hit by Albon and has his wheel off. Another wheel.
Yes.
Kvyat has a puncture and went into the wall and was out lap 13, causing another safety car after the safety car with Magnussen. And then Bottas had a puncture on lap 50. It's going through the top out things.
Yep.
And Sainz has a puncture on lap 52, and Hamilton has a puncture on lap 52. And it's in the penalties, we have Albon gets 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
Then so does Giovinazzi. And black and white flags for both Grosjean and Stroll. And people who are out are Magnussen and Kvyat. And very almost Bottas, Sainz, and Hamilton.
If that had not happened on the last lap, he would have been out of the race for sure. He wouldn't. I've never seen an end to the race so dramatic. Matt Gallagher, the one time we don't hear Hamilton telling Bono his tyres were gone and they blow up in front of him. Matt, you're absolutely right. That is the most unbelievable finish. We've had some crazy finishes here at Silverstone. 1998, Michael Schumacher wins the race in the pit lane. And now, in 2020, Lewis Hamilton decides that, no, I don't need 4 wheels to win. I can do it on my own with 3.
Next year too.
I tell you what,
Next race even.
if he does it on motorcycle, he could probably still win. Unbelievable race here at Silverstone. I can't wait.
I want to see him win it on a unicycle.
I can't wait until we do the post-race review and do all this later on this afternoon as well. That's going to be amazing. But thank you so much for everyone joining us on the YouTube stream over the weekend. Thank you all, everyone, for joining us for all of the session. We'll stay on for the next few minutes as well to see the podium. We can play the national anthems, obviously, because they're national anthems. So we will play those to you as well. It will be the British national anthem for Lewis Hamilton and the German national anthem for Mercedes. We're just hearing from Charles Leclerc now, but obviously we can't broadcast that at the moment. But Megan, what an absolute stellar race. It got a bit dull in the middle, admittedly, but there was a lot of battle in the midfield, and the last lap, everything hit the fan.
Yeah.
And it's ironic because there's no fans here this weekend.
Exactly.
Oh my word. I tell you what, the British public, Nigel Mansell once said the British public gives him a second per lap. The entire world just gave Lewis Hamilton the pace to get going. Over to you, Dan, at race control.
Yeah, just the thing. The tyres next week are even softer.
Yes.
So is this to make sure that they make more pit stops and make the race more interesting?
I'm just wondering, because they've had to go 40 laps on these hard compound tyres, and they are the hardest as well, Dad. They're C1. The hards were the hardest ones they could do. So I'm just wondering, are they going to make a 2-stop mandatory next weekend? What do you think, you two? Dad first.
Lewis is talking now.
Sorry, you listen to that. I'll just talk to Megan. Megan.
Yes, maybe in a free stop at some point due to the
softness of the tyres, yeah.
Due to this weekend, I have a feeling we're gonna have a free stop next weekend.
I'm feeling that as well. 2 races going to be completely different. The British Grand Prix has been won by Lewis Hamilton. The 70th anniversary Grand Prix at the same track next weekend. If this is anything to go by, bring it on. But Lewis Hamilton, masterclass in how to drive, wins the British Grand Prix with 3 wheels. I must admit, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it's one of those memories that you're going to tell your kids about and your grandkids that, yeah, we were there when Lewis Hamilton had 3 wheels on his wagon and won the race. That's the only time I think that's happened. We also, it is going to stay on the YouTube live stream as well, so you can hear everything that has happened and rewatch at your leisure. We'll have the Grand Review podcast on Wednesday with highlights of the commentary of the race as well in radio format and qualifying. We can watch it all again live and on demand here on YouTube from free practice 1 all the way to the race. We've broadcasted all weekend on Comcam, and we'll have to do it again at some point if that's the result. We'll see what we can do. Maybe not doing live streams, maybe uploading the whole race on cameras in the future. But it's been a wonderful time just experimenting with it this weekend and seeing where we can go with the YouTube channel. And what a race to do it at, I think you can agree, Megan. A great race and a great day.
Yes, and I've done this on gold paper.
Cameras there.
I've done this on gold paper. So
it's a special race. 75 there, Megan. I don't know what the official one is for that. If there's a paper for that, because I know that 50 is gold, so I don't know what 75 is. I'm sure you might know.
I'll figure it out.
We can have Roman numerals for how many seconds they was off. At the end, it was, what was it at the end? 5.856 seconds. Hamilton won the race bar. He's his 87th career victory here at Silverstone. He is absolutely shone. And
Roman numerals?
By the way, I did say, if you were listening, I did say earlier on in the broadcast, right at the beginning of the race, whoever wins here of the 2 Mercedes drivers will leave here as the championship leader. Hamilton has just extended his championship lead to Bottas by 30 points. And of course, now we know that Verstappen is closing in as well. I think Verstappen has just taken over Bottas in the driver championship. I'm not too sure. Jenny Gow has just tweeted as well that Lewis Hamilton's just won the race with a Reliant Robin. Three wheels, and I tend to agree with her there.
I've just figured it out with Roman numerals.
Oh, very nice. Here it is again. Look, Megan, it blows down the Wellington Straight, and that is the entire course to get it back. and he does it and takes victory. That is going to be, if that's not on the front of every newspaper tomorrow afternoon, we are doing something wrong, because that is amazing. Look at Angie. Angie cannot believe it. She was, the entire team can't believe it. 2 punctures. Hamilton waving, not to the crowd, but to the marshals around this circuit. That's the moment that every British member and every Hamilton fan had their hearts in their mouths and taking the checker flag, a big sigh of relief as well. And I must admit, it was dramatic for us, because when I saw a second Mercedes with an engine, I thought, oh no, Bottas has done it again. Then I looked and saw it was a white wall tire. I thought, oh dear, here we go again.
It's like, uh-oh.
And then I lost it. He held off completely. The gap was, I said, 30 seconds. It's now 5.856. As onto the podium then comes Charles Leclerc for Ferrari. You may have criticised him, Megan, but he's ended up on the podium.
And he ended up actually helping with the other drivers.
Yeah, Verstappen takes a brilliant second, but the golden boy of Formula One definitely is Lewis Hamilton. 7 poles, 7 victories at the British Grand Prix. We will hear the British national anthem first of all. An amazing result for Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. His 87th career victory. He gets a special trophy, first of all, for Formula One, but he will get presented with the very special British Golden Trophy. The Constructors' Championship going to Mercedes. It's just there on the edge of the picture. We'll get out in a minute. Mercedes got another one here at Silverstone. 7 victories for Hamilton here. It's unbelievable, isn't it, Megan?
I know, it's very unpredictable as well.
It's gold, silver, and bronze. So Max Verstappen gets silver trophy here at Silverstone. And Charles Leclerc gets a very surprising bronze trophy. It should have been Bottas's, but he's looked into that there. 2 seconds down, we'll come to you in a minute. Lewis Hamilton gets presented with the main British Grand Prix trophy. The one that everybody wants their name on in Formula One. And now, stand up, round of applause. It's champagne time at Silverstone. Hamilton provides us with dramatic and enthralling races. He wins with 3 wheels on his wagon. Max Verstappen is second and Charles Leclerc in third. We do it all over again in just 7 days' time here at Silverstone when Formula One celebrates its birth with the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. Dad, is it race control? Over to you.
Yeah, did you notice that the engineer that received the thing is Didier Pironi's son?
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, that's Didier Pironi's son, the one that's an engineer with the Mercedes team.
You are correct, actually,
Brilliant.
yes. Yeah, actually, it is Didier Pironi. You're right, yes. If you just come into camera shot for a second, Megan, and we'll discuss this. Dad, we'll keep you on as well and throw it to you. As we see, Lewis Hamilton now does lead the championship, 88 points. Bottas is on 58, Megan, as well, and Verstappen on 52. So Hamilton does take a 30-point advantage in the championship.
Even if someone did win next weekend, he would still be the leader.
Yes, so that's a reassuring thing if what happens today happens again with punctures.
Yes, it is.
So what did you make of that race then, Megan? It was. We'll look at the camera now because we finished talking about it as they walk off the podium and Hamilton is clutching that British Grand Prix trophy again. What did you make of that race then, Megan? It was an interesting start. 2 safety cars back to back, with Magnussen going off the track, but it was more of a long pull out, wasn't it? Because we had a lot of filling to do in the mid stage of the race as the top 4 checked out. It was mainly a midfield battle.
It was mainly a midfield battle, which I found very exciting since midfielders don't usually get a lot of recognition. Though I find that all the punctures certainly just like, oof.
Yeah.
All wheel problems today.
There's 2 safety cars caused by wheel problems as well. The Kvyat incident was possibly the scariest one of all as well.
Yeah.
A puncture at 180 miles an hour through Maggots and Beckett's and into the wall as well. It wasn't nice.
Yeah, I mean, I like to call that the butcher zone for 2 reasons. 1, because it sounds like a butcher's, and 2, because if you go wrong there, then it's over. You're not getting out of it.
No, indeed. We can bring Dad now in at race control. Dad, an amazing race today. What's your take on it?
I think it was pretty normal for the race up until the last few laps, and especially the last lap. People remember that last lap for a very, very long time.
How lucky!
Did you know that we had a Spitfire or a Hurricane, but we didn't have the red arrow?
We didn't have the red arrows today. No, we had the Spitfire taking over a message for the NHS today instead of the red arrows. Silverstone without the red arrows.
Will be next week.
I think it is next week as we celebrate 70 years of Formula One and
our own
anniversary.
Red arrows
As well, yeah. Dad, I want your driver of the day, please. Is there any doubt? Because I'm going to agree with you for once and give my driver of the day. In fact, I've got 2 drivers of the day. So over to you, Dad, first of all.
Well, my 2 drivers of the day are, first of all, Lewis for winning with 3 wheels, and Max for pushing him so hard.
Oh, you're going for Max. Okay, I was going for the other Red Bull. But Megan, you first of all. Are you going to have the same ones as me?
Yes.
Albon and Hamilton.
Yes, I was going to have the same one.
Oh, well, it had to happen one of these days. We've agreed with each other for once.
I know.
And I'm going to give a special award for doing a Jensen Button almost to Alexander Albon.
Yeah, back of the field to
you made
place.
You made Britain proud today, Alex. You
and Thailand,
all the adversity that you had, and you kept going. Just the spirit of Jensen lives on.
Both
it does indeed.
Are happy.
Right, that's it for
Jensen was only saying that yesterday.
Yes, he really is actually quite a lot of Jensen. Thank you, Dad. We'll hear from you later on in the Friday. I'm going back to Friday. In the Sunday race review. Have you got a closing word for yourself, Dad?
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Well, you may not be doing it, but we've got other ideas.
I might do.
Thanks.
A brilliant race, and Lewis won, and I always love to see Lewis win. You know, that's brilliant. I'm watching it again now. 3 wheels on his wagon, right? He's renamed himself Lewis Trotter.
I agree with you there completely. Thank you, Dad, and we'll see you later on and next weekend as well. Megan, 3 wheels on his wagon, that is impressive, but Pirelli have got to be worried because that's now, 4 punctures in the race that we had? Kvyat, Sainz, Bottas and Hamilton, all on the front left as well. That's got to be a big worry as the compounds get softer next weekend.
Yes, it is something to worry about, and I'm officially renaming this circuit the wheel circuit.
The silver wheel.
Yeah.
There you go. Just sort of one better. Thank you. Then closing statement from you, Megan, today?
Dramatics.
Okay, Megan, thank you very much for your company this weekend up in the commentary box. That's not it, though, from us today. We have our Sunday race review later on this evening, but that is us done for live. But we are live next weekend on the Friday for the first practice, as usual. And we'll see where we go from there in terms of the race, with it being at Silverstone. We'll see how the reception of these gets. But thank you so much for joining us all weekend in our live watch-alongs of the British Grand Prix. We've loved bringing you in, and there's no real difference for us, is it? Because we do this anyway, all the sessions, all the commentaries.
Yeah.
But it was a a bigger difference that you could see what we get up to in the commentary box and as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for all your questions and comments throughout the weekend. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications for all the videos we are on constantly. Coming up on the YouTube channel, though, in between the week, we've still got a lot more programming because we've got the British Touring Car Championship review show from the first week of Donington Park. That's going on right now. Their second race is due to get underway at 5:30. We have the 2 MotoGP season opener races at the Jerez circuit for the Spanish and Andalusia Grand Prix reviews coming up. We have the Grand Review podcast as well to reflect on this crazy race. And then don't forget as well, we've also got next weekend, the 70th anniversary Grand Prix to do it all over again. Thanks to Megan, thanks to Dad, and thanks to you all for watching as well. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix with a tricycle, it could be said. He's absolutely dominant. 7 victories in about, 14 years? Yeah. Unbelievable. Thank you very much for joining us here for the British Grand Prix. Stay safe. Enjoy your rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. It was all here, though. Bye for now.